Join us as we review Fort Hays State's loss at number 10 Emporia State and preview this Saturday's big home game with the number 1 ranked team in the country, Northwest Missouri State. Hello again, everyone, and welcome into Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you as we talk some Fort Hays State football with head coach Chris Brown. He'll be joining us after the break. The Tigers, tough one Saturday at number 10 Emporia State. The Tigers fall by 8, 24-16. Their third loss of the year, now 6-3. They'll try to regroup and face their toughest challenge of the season. Number 1 and undefeated Northwest Missouri State, who's won 24 in a row. The Bearcats coming to town on Saturday afternoon for Senior Day against the Fort Hays State Tigers, and we'll preview that a little bit later on in the show. Tiger Talk again presented by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro at 27th and Indian Trail in Hays, and of course by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine in Hays. It's the taste that brings you back. We'll take our first break. When we come back, head coach Chris Brown will join us right here on Tiger Talk.
Around here, we believe in local values like hard work, family time, or a fair price on reliable internet from a local company. That's why Eagle Communications delivers great local values, like a range of internet options to fit your family's needs. Fast and consistent enough to power everyone's devices at once. All at reasonable prices we're proud to offer our friends and neighbors. Ready for better internet? Give us a call or visit eaglecom.net and discover our local values today.
Hello again and welcome into Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you. The program brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, and of course Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. You can experience delicious cook-to-order food, rich and creamy frozen custard, churned fresh throughout the day. It's all at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine in Hays. The taste that brings you back. Head football coach Chris Brown joining us now. Tigers had a tough one Saturday. Hard-fought battle at Welch Stadium in Emporia. Fort Hays State, though, coming up short, 24-16, losing to the 10th-ranked Hornets. And it really was a tough day. Defensive battle for most of the game. Very windy. The wind certainly played a big factor in that one. And kind of they just couldn't get a whole lot going offensively, and that was kind of the difference.
Yeah, we did. We started out the game just how we wanted to. They had the ball punting into the wind, and we got a 3 and out right away and made them punt the ball. Then our very first play from scrimmage, we throw a pick, and in that same scenario where we got a second and long situation, and we take our eyes off our receiver and give them an open field. Quarterback finds them and they score. So not a good start for us. I just really couldn't get anything going offensively. But I thought defensively, we played pretty well. We held them in check most of the day, gave up a few big plays, and you take away 3 plays, 2 big touchdowns, and then, that very first touchdown, it's a game that we probably win that ball game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you certainly battled with them toe-to-toe, and it was kind of the difference. They had a few big plays. And this was a game, it was hard to establish the rush. Now, their defense was pretty good. They swarmed to the ball. They don't miss a lot of tackles, but it had to be frustrating to not get over the 100-yard mark on the ground.
It is, and that's kind of what we've lived on in the past years. Is just our run game's been so good, and really haven't got that established all year long. A few games we have, but for the most part, we really haven't been able to get our run game going, and it's kind of held us back a little bit. Thank goodness for Jake's arm and hitting receivers and be able to get some yardage that way. But we got to find a way to establish the run and get things going. But their defense did. They played very well. They blitzed a lot in all your other films, but for us, they really just played zone coverage and ran to the ball well and took away our throwing, our passing game pretty well. And they had a great game plan, and our kids just didn't adjust real well.
Not to make excuses, but your offensive line has been beat up. Didn't have Chico again this week. Brandon Gonzalez, who got hurt the game prior, obviously not playing. I mean, you're thin up there, and it kind of showed a little bit. They really struggled to keep pressure off Jacob on Saturday.
Yeah, they did a little bit. It's just got a lot of new guys, and a lot of guys that don't have a lot of playing time, and it always goes back to communication and being on the same page and we only get 3 days to practice with, with that group of guys. Things change a little bit, and you struggle a little bit. But I think Daniel Humber did a good job of stepping in and doing a good job for us. But we got to find ways to get first downs and get points on the board, and we didn't do that on Saturday.
One thing you had to like, your team battled the end. I mean, it was getting late in that game and not looking good, but they kept plugging away and found a way to make it interesting. Came down to the onside kick at the very end.
They did. Beaverly had some great catches in that drive. He's done a good job for us all year long, and he's only getting better each week. And Jake did a good job of finding him, and we did. We tried to make it interesting. We tried to get the job done, but that onside kick, we should have had it. I mean, it bounced right off the kid's chest, but all of our kids ran past the guy instead of having a couple guys stay back just in case it does bounce off. But we battled. Kids played hard. They fought hard, and we just got to regroup this week and try to get better.
Yeah, another tough one coming up Saturday, Northwest Missouri State. We'll talk about the Bearcats a little bit later on in the program. We're going to take our first break, our second break, I guess. We'll come back and talk more about Saturday's game at Emporia right after this here on Tiger Talk.
The year 1948, we said goodbye to the Babe. Truman upset Dewey, and KAYS AM signs on the air. Flash forward to 2016. This year we said goodbye to Prince. We find out if it will be Hillary or Trump, and KAYS FM signs on the air. 1400 AM KAYS, now also on 94.3 FM. It's Hayes' greatest hits. KAYS, sounding great since 1948.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, head coach Chris Brown. It's brought to you by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers and Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro. You can start your day off right with some great coffee and breakfast from Mocha's. Also lunch, dinner, whatever the occasion. They've got food for every meal. Use their handy drive-through in the morning. It's all at Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro at 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes. Coach kind of alluded to it. Game got off to a great start Saturday in Emporia. Hornets got the ball. 4 days won the coin toss, deferred to the second half, and you stuff them. 3 quick plays, get the ball back. They punted into the win. Outstanding field position. Obviously had to be very happy with the way the defense played there to kind of set the tone for the first half of that game.
They did. They played really, really well. We were pursuing to the ball. Wasn't a lot of throwing lanes for the quarterback. We were stopping them with our 3-man front, which is exactly was our game plan. If we could do that, we'd get more guys in coverage as well. And our guys executed the game plan very, very well. And like I said, just a few plays, really cost us in that game defensively. But other than that, I thought we played really, really well.
You get the ball then in their territory. I think it was at the Hornet 49, and Jacob throws a pick right in front of the sideline. What happened? Was it something in the coverage on that play? Because it just felt like, again, that kind of set the tone for you on that side of the ball.
I think it's just the way they rolled their coverage. It's something that we really hadn't seen. Them roll their coverage to the boundary when they usually is rolling it to the field. And they rolled their safety to the boundary that time. Over the number 1 receiver who was. He throws that thing a split second earlier, it's going to be a catch, but he was just a little bit late on it. Safety was able to get over and pick the ball.
Made the play, and they go down and score off of that possession after the return. To grab the 7-0 lead, but then after that you don't give up much, and then your team comes back. You put together a nice drive. You had to settle for the field goal, but you answered, and which was important. And you're right back in the game now at 7-3.
We did. At least we got some points on the board. And even that situation, if we could just held them to a field goal. I mean, we had the quarterback, pretty much bottled up. He was scrambling. Schmidberger was there, to make the play, but Dumas just peaked just a little bit. Receiver got behind him, and Braxton was able to find him for the touchdown. But offensively came right back, drove down the field, and had an opportunity to put a touchdown on the board, but we had to settle for a field goal. But we still got to find a way to punch it in and get touchdowns instead of field goals.
Had 5 possessions in the first half in their territory, got only the 3 points, and it seemed like there was maybe a key drop or just something small that prevented you from maybe extending the drive, and who knows, maybe getting more points and a couple of touchdowns and maybe having a halftime lead.
Yeah, anytime we get in the red zone, we got to find a way to get some points on the board, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown, and we didn't do it. And then it's either maybe a penalty, some sort of penalty, guys like you said, and just dropping a ball, not hitting the hole correctly, missing a block. Just little things that, as a coach really irritates you and aggravates you. And, if we just, solidify those things and get the job done and do our job and do our assignment and make the play, we score more points, but we're just not doing that right now.
Jacob's had a great year so far for Aurelius' first season playing the sophomore, but how much of that first interception get in his head and maybe affect the way he played on Saturday?
And, he was a little hesitant after that. He didn't want to make another mistake, but he just got to let it go and move on. And as a quarterback, you're gonna throw an interception every once in a while. I mean, it just happens. It's just part of the game. And but he's still growing, still maturing. I mean, he puts everything on his shoulders. He's always taking the blame for everything. And a lot of times it's not his fault, but he still considers it his fault, and he's got to do better, even though he's not the one dropping the pass, or he's not the guy missing the block or whatever it might be, but he takes ownership in everything, and he puts the fault on himself.
Talked about the weather. It was windy. It's the third straight game you've played in wind, and it seemed like it was more of a factor in the Emporia State game than it was at home against Western, and then at Washburn the week before that. It seemed to really affect the kicking game and a lot of other elements.
It really does. It didn't seem like it was that big a deal, but when you really stepped onto the field, it was. It is a pretty good gust of wind, and it could gust every once in a while even harder, but it does affect the game, and it affects field position. If you don't get first downs and you give them a short field, it makes it easier for that offense to score. And I thought we did a good job in certain situations of getting out of those positions, but there's a lot of times that we hurt ourselves and put us in bad shape.
We talked about the defense, and even though you settle for that field goal, they have forced 3 and outs in that first half. 6 straight possessions, you forced the Hornets to punt the football, and then you got that interception late. That first half could have been as good of a half of defense as you've seen all year.
It was. They played really, really well. I mean, they didn't hardly give them anything, offensively, and it's just our guys were doing their job and doing their assignments, and they flew to the ball, and it really goes to your guys up front. Those. Nathan Shepard, Cito and Luke Wright, and all those guys up front have really been able to handle their offensive line with that 3-man front and stopping the run. And since we were able to do that, it really took pressure off our secondary to worry about the run. All they really had to worry about was the pass game. And I think that's why they were so effective in that first half.
I think Emporia had 86 yards at halftime, and 43 of those came on that opening possession after the interception. So great job by the defense. 7-3, Fort Hays State trailing the Hornets at halftime. We'll take a break, come back, and look at the second half action from Welch Stadium when we return right here on Tiger Talk.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, head coach Chris Brown. It's brought to you by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where they have frozen custard and steak burgers there all the time. In fact, you can celebrate a classic steakhouse favorite right now, the A1 Chop House Steak Burger. It's a great one. 2 sizzling patties topped with grilled onions, sauteed mushrooms, white cheddar cheese, and a zesty A1 garlic sauce. Of course, the home-style bun, only at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine and Hayes. The taste that brings you back. Tigers were down 7-3 Saturday at halftime to number 10 Emporia State. And as we mentioned earlier, you won the coin toss, deferred it, so you have the ball to start the third quarter. And again, you move it into their territory, but the drive kind of stalls. That would have been a nice one to find a way to punch in and get some points out of.
It was. We had the ball, and they also gave us the wind, in that situation. And when you get that opportunity, you go find ways to put points on the board and try to get a lead, because in the fourth quarter you're going to be punting into the wind. There's a good chance you're going to give up a short field, and we didn't do that. We drove down and, of course, made some mistake and didn't get any points out of it. So we got to find ways to get points.
They come back then, and we talked about some big plays. They had a couple of them in the second half, and one of them was a 65-yard touchdown pass to Mitchell Foote. He was able to get a step on you guys and score the touchdown. And it's been a tight game up to that point. The Hornets finally got a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, those things we're talking to our kids about. They really haven't taken any really big shots downfield yet. The second half, they're going to come out. I mean, they got they stopped us. We didn't score. They got the ball back. You got to expect something, and then we just talked about it on that play. Don't get your eyes caught in the backfield. Make sure you stay locked on your receiver, because they're going to stutter you and go, and that's exactly what happened. Kamen was on his receiver, perfect position, got his eyes in the backfield looking at the run, play action, guy went vertical, and he got beat.
No, they score the touchdown. It's 14-3 Emporia State. Two teams exchange some possessions, force some punts, and then you get the ball back late third, and the drive extends into the fourth, a 9-play scoring drive, and you take advantage of a taunting penalty. They get a stop, and the defensive lineman did a little dance over Shaquille Cooper and drew the flag, and you took advantage of it. Shaq, a few plays later, takes it in from 10 yards out, and you're right back in the ball game, down by 5.
Yeah, we are. We're right where we want to be. Got a great opportunity to get points on the board, and we did it. But we got them where we want them. Now we just got to make plays in the secondary and up front, and not allow a big play to happen. And that's something we didn't do. But we were able to get it within 5 points, and you got to do that. Went for the 2-point conversion, didn't get that, to try to get it within 3. So we just got to kick a field goal, but we didn't convert on that either. So got to find ways to make plays and make things happen, and we just didn't seem to do that in this game.
And then they come back and they get a couple of big pass plays. One to Brown, who caught their first touchdown, then a 38-yarder to very electric player, kind of their Charles Tigner-like, Morris Williams, and they go back on top now at 24-9, or 21-9, just to put the pressure on you from that point on.
Yeah, they did. Now we're stretched at this point. You got to use your timeouts and do all kinds of different things. You don't want to offensively kind of get you out of your offensive game plan as well, and because you got to score twice now, and we just didn't get done. We can't get beat on that play again. I mean, it's Dunnigan went down with a cramp, and Knowles came in, and just stay inside leverage, stay back, and but they run a heck of a route, and it's a good pass and a good catch, and they scored that touchdown.
Probably the backbreaker, though. A little bit later on in that quarter, they put together a 12-play drive, get a 42-yard field goal with the wind at their back. They eat up almost 4 minutes. Now it's 24-9, but more than the score was probably the fact they ate up so much time. There just wasn't a lot of time left for you guys.
Yeah, there wasn't. And they did a good job of managing the clock and getting first downs, and you go in that 4-minute mode on offense where you're just trying to run the clock down and get first downs, and they did that and were able to capitalize with a long field goal. So hats off to them. They had a great game plan. They played very well. The quarterback played a great game. Running back did some good things as well. But it really came down to some big plays. Us giving up big plays on defense, and just not really producing much on offense.
Now they went in kind of a prevent mode, but you got the ball with 50 seconds left and moved it down nicely. Jacob had a couple of big passes and hit Lane Beaverly for a touchdown. And despite it being a long shot, you're right back in the game. You get the extra point, and you're within 8.
Yeah, we're right there. To win that ball game. Again, they took all that time off the clock, so you're in hurry-up mode, and our kids did a good job of getting out of bounds on catches and getting first downs and getting back onto the ball and onto the next play. But that's a great pass by Jake Delane. Kept his eyes on the ball, brought it in, and scored a touchdown, and then we got to go to the onside, and that's always the tough part. You 50-50 chance. You never know who's going to get it, and they end up getting it and taking a knee.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it earlier in the program. Unlike the game against, I guess, the last 3 games now, it's come down to an onside kick. You didn't get that big bounce against Washburn. You did in this one. It went off the guy's chest, but as you said, kind of over pursued, and nobody was there to scoop that ball up because it was bouncing on the field for a while.
It was. There's always going to be a few guys that just stay back just a little bit, just in case that happens, and too anxious, too amped up, just trying to get to the ball and put a hat on somebody and knock it out. And we had a chance, and we just didn't get it done. 24-16, the final on Saturday. The Tigers fall to Emporia State. Back at home for Senior Day this Saturday. Number 1 Northwest Missouri State comes to town. We'll have a preview right after this.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Welcome back one final time here on Tiger Talk, brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro and by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. Right now they're celebrating a fall classic, the pumpkin pie concrete, fresh and creamy frozen custard blended with a whole slice of rich pumpkin pie, crust and all, and it's topped with whipped cream and sprinkled with cinnamon. Only at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. It's the taste that brings you back. Tigers play at home for the final time here in 2016. And boy, what a challenge. The number 1 ranked team in the country, Northwest Missouri State. The Bearcats undefeated. They've won 24 in a row, coming off a big win over Pittsburgh State. We'll talk about them first. It'll be Senior Day. You'll honor a good group of seniors who have really been kind of a foundation and a building block for this program from where it was when they got here to where it's going to be when they leave, a group that's been very instrumental in the re-emergence of Fort Hays State football.
Yeah, they are. They're a big part of why we are where we're at right now. I mean, they've done a good job of, the weight room, summer workouts. I mean, holding kids accountable, just being here and doing the things that they need to do to win ball games and make this program better. And I can't thank those kids enough for what they've done for us. And and they're going to do more things in their life to better this world. I mean, most of these kids are going to go get their degrees, and a lot of them are involved with education and social work and those type of things just to help out and give back to what that they've been given, and just really proud of them. I mean, they really have set the foundation of where we want to be, and I mean, with these group of guys, we've gotten better each year, and we've kind of started a winning tradition with them. So hopefully we can continue this after these guys are done.
Well, they'll get a big challenge in their final home game, Northwest Missouri State. I don't even know where you start with this team. Virtually everybody back from last year. One of the positions was quarterback, where they are ushering in a new starter, but Zimmerman's been there for his whole career. It's finally his turn, and he hasn't skipped a beat. They're just solid at each and every position.
They are. They're very good. Offensive line's very, very good, and they got some depth there. The receiving core is very good. Got a lot of speed at the receiving core and athleticism, and they got two big running backs that are very strong and powerful. And then you got Zimmerman, who's done a heck of a job this year. Hasn't thrown a pick yet, and that's amazing. You go through 9 games without throwing a pick, but he doesn't make a dumb decision. If it's not there, they're going to live to play another down, and they got a lot of confidence in their defense that they're not going to allow points, so they know they're going to get the ball back, eventually. But their defense is tremendous too. I mean, they got some D linemen that are just animals that get off the ball and hit you in the mouth, and they're going to play a lot of man coverage and and lock you down because they got they're confident in their abilities, and we got to find a way to go out there and play and compete and get after them and play a great ball game.
They're a team that doesn't make very many mistakes, and it seems like they have. All the years they've had all this success here in the last decade or so, they thrive on your mistakes. And if you make one, they always seem to pounce on it and take full advantage of it.
Yeah, they do. I mean, especially early in the ball game. That first quarter, that first half is very, very important. And that's where they've won all their ball games. I mean, they just blow teams out in the first half. So you got to weather the storm, play to their tempo, play to their pace. Not give up any big plays defensively, and offensively, not turn the ball over. Be sound, ball security, get some first downs. Control the clock, and just kind of maintain the game and let it get to the second half, and keep it a tight ball game. I mean, they've blown everybody out in the first half, so that's something that we cannot allow to happen.
How much in a game like this do you fight playing the name on the jersey? And it's Northwest. They've won the national championship. They're in line to maybe make a run again this year. All those things that go along with it. How much do you fight in that as opposed to they're just another football team? You got to go out there and just play your best and give it your all.
And they are. They put their pants on the same way we do. They put their helmet, shoulder pads on the same way we do as well. They've won ball games. They found out how to win ball games. I mean, they play together as a team. Everybody's exactly on the same page, and you can see that. But that's been years in progress, and I think we're starting to get to that point as well. But they're just a well-oiled machine, and they do things very, very well. And what we really need to do is just worry about ourselves and making ourselves better. We really got to focus in on doing our job, doing our assignments, and not so much worry about what Northwest is doing, but what we're doing and how we can control the game and how we can make plays. And then when our name is called, go make the play and get the job done. And I think if we can do that, we'll be all right.
And it's, as a player, I would think, hey, it's the #1 team in the country. It's Senior Day. They're in our place. You kind of live for games like this. I mean, what a great experience, and really no pressure on the Tigers.
Not at all. You got to be excited about these type of games. We're still trying to fight, to get in the playoffs or even a bowl contention, but it's going to be a fun atmosphere. It's a great football team, and that's where we want to get to, and we're going to see where we're at. I mean, it's a challenge for our kids, and I think if it's me, I'm excited about the challenge, and I want to step on the field and give it my all and compete to the best of my ability and see what happens.
Should be a lot of fun. The Bearcats, ranked #1 in the country at Fort Hays State on Saturday. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you at the stadium Saturday afternoon.
Thanks, Gerard.
That's head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, that'll be a 2 o'clock kick for Senior Day at Lewis Field. You can hear it on Tiger Radio Mix 103. The Auto World pregame show gets underway at 1 o'clock. Again, if you missed any portion of the program here tonight, you can always catch it online at HaysPost.com, and the video replay on Eagle Cable Channel 14 and 614, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and of course online as well at HaysPost.com. Program today brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, BTI, and Horizon Appliance and Electronics. And of course, a big thanks to Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes, and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine, the taste that brings you back. For head coach Chris Brown, this is Gerard Wellbrock. So long, everyone.
We get it. You work hard and play hard. Internet should be the last thing slowing you down. Eagle Communications gives you the speed you need so you can play hard and save cash. For a limited time, get 30 meg for $30 or 50 meg for $50 so you can work, play, and save. Call us at 877-61-EAGLE today.